All right, I'd like to call some order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Kapadas.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Farrell.
Here.
And Mrs. Passio.
Here.
And everybody, Ms. Straley's here, Ms. Miller's here, and Mr. Rozak's here, and Chief Sampolsky's here.
Okay, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act is given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2023, and two, emailed to the retrospect and current post on January 5th, 2023. First thing we have is approval of minutes of the November 28th and December 5th meetings. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a public hearing. Ordinance 2313 is an ordinance approving the financial agreement for a long-term tax exemption with 195 Runnemede Associates Urban Renewal, LLC for Block 135, Lot 40.03. This is the warehouse. Just to make it clear before we open this to the public, is that we did first reading. The draft has not changed. There was a little bit of language. It just is a clarification. So we're going to, as long as everything is approved by council tonight, you're going to authorize me to sign the agreement. Our attorney's here this evening representing us in this endeavor, and so is the attorney for the applicant. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, would someone like to make a motion to approve?
Motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Farrell. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
3 ayes.
That should do it. Thank you, guys. I will sign it, and it'll be official.
You got it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Council.
Have a great New
All
Year.
right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
See you later.
All right, ordinance 2315 is an ordinance amending chapter 15315 fees in the Runnemede Code. This is the tax map. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
Public portion is closed. Would someone like to make a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
And Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
3 ayes. 2
All
absent.
right, that ordinance is adopted. Ordinance 2316 is ordinance regulating the salaries for employees of the Borough of Runnemede. This is the salary ordinance, just to make sure it's up to date. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Patsy, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public portion is closed. Would someone like to make a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt on second final reading and advertise according to law.
I second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
And Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
3 ayes, 3 absent.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. We're going to do the resolutions in a block. I'll just read them off by title. All right, Resolution 23-151 is a resolution authorizing the cancellation of grants. This is for stuff back in 2006. Resolution 23-152 is a resolution authorizing shelter agreement with Voorhees Animal Orphanage. I heard their rates, did their rates go up substantially? Did I hear that? Joe?
Yep.
They did. Resolution 23-153 is a resolution authorizing a contract for animal warden services. I heard his one up too.
Also went up.
Resolution 23-154 is a resolution authorizing the release of a performance bond and safety stabilization guarantee with Wawa. This is for the work that they did, giving their money back. Resolution 23-155 It's a resolution confirming 2023 appointments. And this is for,
C2 operator.
this is for Larry Onacci, license operator. This is for the sewer department. And resolution 23-156 is a resolution authorizing the participation in the New Jersey PP Gov competitive pricing. Is this one of those co-ops to purchase something? Okay, would someone like to make a motion on 23-151 to 23-156?
I'll make a motion.
From 151, 156.
151, 156.
Yeah, oh,
I'll second that.
okay, motion by Mr. Prowse, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passiano.
Yes.
3 ayes, 3 absent.
Okay, those are all adopted. Now, the only thing just to talk about, I don't know if you saw, those numbers went up, but they're homeward bound is ridiculous.
Well, we really had a hard time, her and I, trying to find somebody even to give us, Homeward Bound would not give me a quote. They said they had to lose somebody before they would even give me a quote. And every other town that I questioned all have the same two.
Yeah, it's either Voorhees or Homeward, yeah.
That we have. And they went up to what, 7,800 for the,
Which is still half of what we want.
Oh, yeah, Homeward was a lot more, yeah.
that's for the shelter. And then he went up to, it went $125 a month more
Yeah,
for the warden, so
okay.
it is what it is.
It's payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passiano?
Yes.
So those of you in the audience, if you want to talk a little bit about the reorganization meeting, if we could wait till after the meeting to go over, the grant that I think, Russ, you sent out, and, this creative committee, I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about that, because the creative committee isn't really, there's no ordinance that council has adopted creating such an entity. Now, if it would be a subcommittee, what's that?
It's usually a subcommittee under the.
If it was a subcommittee under the green team, that's under your prerogative.
Right.
We can just appoint everybody to the green team, and then you could create a subcommittee, and that subcommittee could do whatever you want them to do. That would be the easiest thing, unless anybody has any objections. Like Ms. Passio said, that's what we've done in the past. So the green team is the only entity that the mayor appoints and council approves. And that's only for just,
So you want the creative team to be part of the green team? The creative
The
team.
people on the
Right,
creative
people on
team
the green team.
would be on the
You
green
would pick a
team.
little subcommittee and say, okay, so.
and you can do whatever.
3 or 4, and you'd be a part of the creative team.
So
they
you,
did
when
creative.
the resolution I sent you has it broken down.
I would just put them all in the reorganization meeting, and then you guys, at your first meeting that the green team gets together, you guys can parse it out
Okay,
of who's gonna do what.
okay.
Who's gonna do grants, who's gonna do,
Well, that's
art.
beside the point. My feeling was that we wanted to establish a creative team.
Well, the only way to do that, the council would have to, by ordinance, create
It's a whole separate entity.
a whole separate entity.
So.
So we don't have to do that, as long as we keep it all on the green team.
Exactly.
And you'll appoint everybody on the creative team to be on the green
We will,
team.
you will.
You will, the green team will appoint.
No, what she's saying is
He
the
has
list
to
of
appoint
people.
in a reorg.
Oh, I see what you're saying, I'm sorry.
The list that she gave me would just be green team members, and you guys can divide it up how you'd like.
Okay.
Budgeting wise, all that kind of stuff will just fall under the green team and stuff like that, and you guys can decide how to break it up.
Okay, all right.
The secondly is anything that the green team wants assistance from the borough, meaning if you need us to do a resolution, changing an ordinance, funding, information that's missing. Like I looked at that application very quickly. We can give you standard information, like it said, okay, who's gonna be the applicant? Well, the borough can be the applicant, because, the borough is the green team, and the green team is the borough. So we could do that in the address. And one of the questions is, who do you write the check out to? Well, it would be the Runnemede, Borough of Runnemede, 24 North Black Horse Pike, and that would be the address and things like that. Resolutions would come from council, ordinances would come from council, but the green team, and even budget items, if something wanted to be purchased, it would just go through the whole requisition process. And the requisition would probably still go through Public Works, and then the funds would just be, a requisition would be created, a PO would be created if you wanted to
Is that the
buy.
way it is, Cheryl?
It should be, yes. Which also means that all New Jersey purchasing laws would have to be followed.
Of course, of course.
So if you went over a certain amount of money, you'd have to get 3 quotes. If you went over 40-some thousand dollars, we'd have to go out for public bid. So those are very basic information that we could give you guys, and just know that those are the rules. Of course, if you did something through a shared service, or if you did something that was in a co-op or state contract, then we wouldn't have to worry about that. Russ, you're familiar with state contracts. If we wanted to buy a bunch of benches, we go through state contract, we buy the benches. We want to buy certain items, we could buy directly from state contracted vendors. But we can talk a little bit after the meeting, because one thing's important now that we got this meeting done is the reorganization. And for me, the reorganization meeting is about appointing everybody to their positions. And then after we do our appointments and those kind of things, then the second thing we start working on is our budget. So once we have our team, then we start working on our budget. Our budget always defines what we're trying to accomplish. So if we say that we're going to try to accomplish, let's use trees as an example. You know, council would have to approve an appropriation of, say, $10,000 for trees. You know, it would go in the budget, we would introduce it and adopt it, and that would be there. Now, once again, if we don't use the money, it rolls over into surplus, or we put into certain accounts that could stay there. We do have accounts now that money stays year after year. Is that correct? So they're trust funds. So if we put money into a trust and we don't spend it, we can spend it the next year. It can't be used for anything other than those activities, like recreation as a trust fund, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
There are certain trust funds that are approved by the state and can only be used for those statutory approvals.
Yes, and what's nice about the trust fund is the money doesn't go anywhere. If we have a budget line item and we don't spend it in the current year, it just goes into surplus, which I call our savings, basically. It just rolls over into an account of unused funds, and then we have to wait a year before we can use those funds.
All right, so the money that we got for the bridges over at Runnemede Lake Court,
Completely separate issue. So that's a grant. So a grant has a timeline to be paid for. So in particular, the big bridges she's bringing up. All right, we were given $25,000. Now, some of the money, when it first started working, came out of Public Works. Well, now, what Shelley did was she said, okay, Public Works might pay for the wood. She just reimbursed it from the grant. We then submit the receipts to the grant writer, or the granting authority, which was the county. And they said, okay, you spent $1,000 on wood, you spent $1,000 on signs, you spent $1,000 on trash cans. And then that's how we do it. The cancellation that we did this evening, everyone, was for a few $100s that we didn't spend on a grant. So if they give you a $25,000 grant and you only spend $24,000, that $1,000 goes away. So the goal is to spend 100%.
did we spend 100% of that 25,000?
I believe we were able to reimburse costs.
We had until December 15th to submit that to the county, so Harry was kind enough to help us get trash cans, signs, all kinds of stuff so that we could completely.
So, and then we were also able to reimburse, we can reimburse now. Let's be clear, guys. Some money is fungible, meaning that if Public Works is doing something and we need an extra $1,000 to pay for a boat for the fire company, we can move money around to make it happen if there's money that can be done. Is that accurate to say that?
If it's approved in the grant application as a purchase.
No. Above and beyond the grant. If the grant is $25,000, we spend $27,000, we can supplement. We can do things like that. We can use our own bonding money sometimes to pay for stuff. You know, we're using bond money right now to do the scout building and things like that. However, some of the money is being charged directly to Public Works because his employees are doing the work. So you can look at it as, well, we borrowed some money, but we also had it in the budget, and his guys went over there and demoed it and they did things like that. So we can talk a little bit after this meeting, just to go, you know, I'm really happy that you guys are being more engaged in this. The only thing I want to say in public meeting here also is, one thing about the Green Team and Sustainable New Jersey, which I think is very different than arts and economic development, even though they go together a little bit. I think we started arts kind of before we started sustainable actions. So sustainable actions are very specific. You know, you go out and we put a charging station up. You go out and you do something that's educational. Where art can be, or revitalization, can be done just through council's action. It's got nothing to do with the Green Team, which I think is the reason you want to separate things a little bit, is if we just say we want to do a project that's a beautification of this community, there's nothing to say that we can't beautify the corner down in front of Gerace. That's an example where that brick wall got built, the landscaping got done. Look at the Borough Hall right here, all the landscaping that we did. I think a lot of these trees, even though I would love to get a grant, I think that we're gonna have to make some commitments to helping residents put trees up. I think we do it on our own property first, but maybe we also help people who need trees as part of our stormwater planning and stuff like that. But, you know, I think maybe you guys need to get me engaged a little bit more, and I apologize that I'm not always
The
engaged.
green team also has to go to businesses to get the businesses engaged and be a part of the green team, being a part of the green.
Sure.
So, you know, that's where you go get some of your funding, things like that. So, that's
Well-
important. Businesses are important.
Can I just make one small recommendation when it comes to the trees and that initiative? We have developed certain lists that we've worked with a lot of different entities and among ourselves, because trees are very invasive to our sewer lines, not just ours, but residents as well. So we have developed lists that have trees. that
Short
are-
roots.
Yes,
Yeah.
that are not so invasive.
Yeah.
Well-
For us and for them, because when we have to repair the sewer lines, it costs.
I appreciate that, but some of the trees aren't going to be put where sewers are going to be. And so the list that we can use as a good example is what the Green Team in Haddon Heights used. The Bach Associates already did a whole list of all the trees. They outline where trees work. The Shade Tree Commission, which we're also a member of, gives us a list of all the stuff. We can use this. I think what it comes down to is the Green Team coming together. We start to identify where we want to put it. Now, once again, two separate issues, guys. If it gets us points for sustainable, that's one thing. If we look at it as beautification or improvement, that has nothing to do with sustainable points and all that. That's council and our public and you guys saying, hey, look, this is an improvement. I would argue that some of the trees that we need to put around are right here on our property right here. And that has nothing to do with the sewer lines, right? There's trees that could be planted along our parks, along, Borough property that has nothing to do with sewer lines or with electric line. I do appreciate 100% considering sewer pipes and overhead wires. I do appreciate those. The second thing that I would say is any tree that we put in front of someone's property, we're going to ask for the permission to put them. I'm not putting a tree in front of, on Washington Avenue, unless the guy on Washington Avenue wants that tree, because he's going to go out there and kill it. He's not going to take care of it, and we need people to take care of these living organisms that need to be maintained, pruned, and stuff like that. Even these business owners where we put trees in front of them. Some business owners maintain them, some business owners put a nail in them and kill them. So we're going to work with our people and understand and appreciate their perspectives too. So if there isn't anything else, but this is a public meeting, so the microphone is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close this meeting.
I'll second that motion.
And not the meeting. Motion by Ms. Patsy, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor? All right, the public portion is closed. Was there anything from the chief or from Harry or from, everybody good? Everybody good? Bad? Good?
I'd like to
Okay.
wish,
Oh.
I would like to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas.
Invite everybody to the reorg.
And don't forget, our reorg is on Thursday, January 4th at 6 p.m. It should be a very good.
So all those people being appointed, we obviously would love you all to be there at the meeting. I can also distribute that agenda ahead of time so we can work together, make sure we're appointing all the right people. Think about it, guys, we have to appoint library board, we have to appoint clean communities people, we have to appoint green team and stuff like that. Anything else? No? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Patsy, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we adjourned at 4:20. Thank you.